February 25th, 2022. As I sit here, I earlier wrote about the mental retardation, and in a serious sense of I have a citron eye at the moment in paradimensional. My current seated, looking out my eyes to the world in POV are blue hazel. But in paradox or parallel dimension of a device doing a recording for me, at times they measure some other interdimensional or interstellar metric that's important, and sometimes they appear to be citron, or like a citron hazel. Again, there have been several movies and TV shows that have mentioned it in like a witches and warlocks and magical realm of alien to most, but does exist in where there are fairy tales and sprites and that sort of thing. But some people are very straight and narrow. They don't even like to venture into the realm of fantasy or frolic in the phantasmal, in this dismal decimal point of like Dewey Decimal. So there is a novel, or I don't know if it's novelty, I don't know if it's a fictional work of art, it's some paradox, but there is a book by Eddie Hahn, Eddiehan, which the names absolutely as ghostwriters for universal prowess in the way that this paradigm shift was sent into the future off course. It does work for me with Edie's force and the Han being a non-binary whatever. And so in there, in that parabolis, parabolis, that I at the moment am unable to ascertain, decipher, and read, although on the synopsis or just the little biography, it looks like it's like a morsel, like a sample. I don't need to digest the entire thing. The sample was enough. The synopsis was enough. The biopsy of what the humans were throwing into the universe was enough for me to decipher what I needed to. That being said, Bill Maher is on, and he's speaking of something. I was looking for a snidbit, snidbit, or a morsel per se of morale, almost like an update from the great beyond that telecasts his script to feed the whatever in some feedback loop. FEEDBACKLOOP. There was a guest on before this piece that I'm looking at. He mentioned he was Latino, and then something about Latinx. Again, I tread carefully in not touching that with a 10-foot pole. No Big Ten on that one. And then I've got at pup tense that I'm currently whatever. This level of light interferes with eye-hand coordination, eye mental ability to function properly, and at the moment biologically being attacked at this level of what I call polonium, which is radiologically damaging to the biologic, which is why I'm so bloated and functioning in such an altered state. The feedback loop of Bill Maher on this HBO telecast speaks of something I'd never heard of called C-Pac, CPAC. Again, I know the humans, they organize in several different ways. at the level that I've been held at, away from what I was built for and the person I was built for whatever reason with these. I wrote about it today for the first time, kind of questioning the powers that be or the universe into where I belong. It's it's daunting when it's a one-way street and you've you're seeing signs of misdirection, and the feedback loop being whatever. So I'm here and I'm listening, and Bill Maher says it one way. He says mentally impaired. Again, IMP-AIR. I don't really, I'm not clear. But again, the microphone system seems to have been a little sustained some damage in this shuttle, whatever. I mean, if you're supposed to be shuttled off to somewhere safe with someone of importance, and then the shuttle in rocket, whatever, involved has some form of stall or something else installed, it becomes a real scam at the SCA for the ski. And so I'm listening to him, and then he has on televised two microphones. Neither of them can I decipher in any appropriate whatever, being the other pieces on the checkerboard of checkered past that everybody in this blackened scenario went through. We all have a checkered past. There's nobody who is unscathed in, like, whatever. So now, being that that exists, how does one start to put some whatever and make sure the integral part of the chessboard, the pieces are put together properly, so that this way there is a correction within this palladium level lighting fixture, since not everybody has a citron eye. Not everybody can pick up on an interdimensional differential from their human anatomical and communicate about it. It's a gift, but it honestly at this point feels like a curse. And that's part of the checkered past, where the pawns are on the chessboard, and if they're even in the correct positions based on what's needed for what's yet to come.
It's pro-life, whatever it is. It's like a convention, right? It's where Republicans. If you're a conservative and you want to make your bones in the Republican Party, you gotta score at C-Pac. It's this year. The speaker's Glenn Beck.
Okay, that's like a sports book reference on a I don't know if that's local political or that's geopolitical. I mean, politely on it, I am unclear. But that's what happens when I listen to him, which is why I don't sit regularly. It's not a regular TV program. Again, I'm here at the moment just trying to pick up on, since I've been putting out some universal prowess, what is being tossed back. He did mention on this particular episode something about all caps, which, of course, whatever in whatever.
Beck, Ted Cruz, Jim Jordan, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Papa John.
Now, Papa John, I only know that as some pizza commercial, but I don't know if there's a real person attached to that. I don't know how one finds these things out.
Donald Trump Jr. I mean, it is a Woodstock of the mentally impaired.
Now, I don't find that as an insult, but...
Nice way. I'm not being mean. Anyway, I look at, I'm just, to me, the reason I'm bringing it is I feel like it's emblematic of where the country is, and we're gonna measure this by the party. Here are the 5 of their seminars, their big events. Fighting Woke Inc.
All right, now, this is what they have. And what I'm unclear of, I don't know what this is. Obamacare still kills. Here's the thing. If everybody, see, for me, the pushing, the hurting of my marriage, the breaking of my wedlock during some Cold War, war on drugs, war on terror breaking out, and some other whatever in wars, while my wedlock was being broken. And I'm an integral part of zodiac and sundial for planetary and astrological things. That's an undisputed fact based on the fact that I have citron in the eye, I have blue hazel, and there is a very specific importance for the biological terrorism not to go into effect or to be kept in checks and balances in the way that Mother Nature and Father of Time are required or are in need of. This problem that I have about Obamacare still kills is, yeah, that is true. But what happens is that's a problem within I don't know what sector, I don't know what committee insisted that the black message comes out through a black microphone, the white message comes out through a white microphone, and that the black message coming out of a black microphone in a time dilation and some kind of experimental whatever is allowed to grow and gather while occupants of On the Lam are joining this dangerous whatever while still using this format in what they claim is a quiet, better place, but for some, it just leads to further breakdown and deterioration, which is how the checkered past gets from Cold War to war on drugs, war on terror, biological, still has its job to do in loops of sanity and keeping whatever in check. What happens is it still, to me, was a breach of security on the highest level because now On the Lam had access to nationally secure monuments, secrets, and whatever. And it gave false initiative to those that have already been gathering dangerously in meddling in certain business. And they are for sure and for certain not the timing and geospatial for health purposes to quell and keep down biological terrorism. For certain. It's a special kind of eye. That is a theme that has gone through anthropological and anthropomorphic. And then it says, lock her up for real. Now, I don't know if, are they talking about wedlock with the correct? Because right now I don't have pencil and x-ray on correct wedlock. I only have ink pen at a $15 per head toilet paper appearance for citron level important things, but not of personal necessity. They've actually been the opposite of what was needed. So this gets confusing because I don't know this C-Pac and the like, again, I don't have access to these people. I don't know how to communicate with them other than what I'm doing at the moment. But how do you address one set of whatever without another? And what are they thinking? Again, it's a one-way street for me at the moment. And then I'm using this as like a filtered, cumulative feedback to try to make sure that I stay and that I didn't miss a mark somewhere that needed to be whatever, so my situation in this acclimate corrects itself.
Obamacare still kills. The truth about January 6th, for, that's where this party is. I look at that list, I say 3 of those things are total batshit crazy. The problem is the 2 of them have a kernel of truth in it.
Now at par, is that where like the benchmark is? Because I know there's different markets of, like, even with McDonald's has a Northeast market. They have like a Midwest market for advertising, and then they've got their West Coast market, just as an example for what goes on, or at least they did back in the 1980s. I don't know, I can't verify 2022 if they're still in different markets, and if that's I mean, I know it's an important feature. I just don't know in this new jambalaya where everything's thrown into one VAT, VAT. I don't know how that's handled.
Yeah,
Which you agree?
well, but that's the stock and trade of every demagogue, which isn't that they're absolutely wrong, it's that they're giving you half the truth, and that's why they're dangerous, because they have a whole, and
I wouldn't say half.
well, okay, even a third, but this was how Trump operated. Trump was playing on real issues that people cared about and that a lot of the elites were ignoring.
But without the proper pieces being on the chessboard in the proper order after an already checkered event happened. The chess pieces were not laid out correct in pawns, PAWNS. And then this time paying forward and perpetuating, and then these secret, like, I'm taking your king and I'm putting this king here, unallowable events go on, and the people at Checkered Past don't always get the correct update, and it's causing massive confusion. Within my life frame, at least.
Immigration, for example, urban decay and so on, but his solutions were vile and evil. So you have to be, if you are the opposition party, you can't be giving those gifts to the demagogues in American politics. And that, unfortunately, has been the relationship in the last few years between the Democrats and the Republicans.
So we agree Obamacare still kills. That's wrong, right?
Well, I just have to say,
Obamacare's
This, for me, is they're at a higher level of education and continuous update and conversation than I am. So these are their responses in some poll. And if it's not Broadway, it's off Broadway.
doing better than ever, actually, and in a pandemic, it was really a lifesaver for a lot of people.
exactly, yeah. But I think one of the issues here is I don't think the majority of the American people are actually with C-Pac. 83% of
No.
Americans
Oh, no.
are totally dissatisfied with the direction that the nation is going, and I think that's in part because we're exhausted.
Now, why does she have better statistics and more inside information than even myself? At any point in life. Just curious. There are certain things I need to be involved in. I just don't know how to get to the people I need to be involved with. Second to that, the care of my person has been so derogatorous and disheveled that now this is where it has evolved to. where I'm back into my mother's house because I can no longer keep a roof over my own head. And there's been no pension. I mean, I got a phone call at some point from Department of Homeland Security saying that we have a partnership. I'm like, okay, can you tell me what that means? Then there was like silence. Is there money involved in this partnership at some point so I can pay my bills and I can contribute and be an active member? Or, I mean, and there's just no answers.
By the polarization. We're exhausted by this mudslinging attitude that characterizes our politics at the moment, and especially coming out of COVID-19, where there are all these byproducts in mental health, right? We are suffering as a nation from things like depression and the feeling of loneliness and feeling
Okay, first of all, the word mental is a nautical direction for a sect or a sector of the population that does not vector with public or with humanity. Once you get mental correct and know that it's a nautical direction, and then there's all these fictional character words of some of the malfunctions within humanity that arise or are put together to phonically be able to pattern, so then there could be further correction. Problem is, I don't really see the further correction. I see more phonics and more words and more campaigns being built, with my situation never seeming to correct itself, which I can't do by myself. But I don't know where my champions from and to whom his audience is. I don't even have that simple fact. All I can do is offer my champion, who champions for me elsewhere, in I Was Built For, as was he, some words of encouragement based on the discouraging set of events that I've been thrown into and I've had to sustain by myself, just trying to muddle through this or ramble on.
disconnected.
While this is ego above my head at the moment, having to have voices in some stuff, granted, you have that already. I still need help with planetary things, with the lighting, with the pressure system, with a whole lot of things that I can't do by myself. And here's the thing, the difference between what's up on stage and where I'm at mentally as far as nautical direction. For me, the judge of beauty is the person that gazes upon you and takes you in to their visual and cranial cortex, and then based on their actions and the way that they animate, that is the judge and the bar for which your beauty, or my beauty, is then marketed. I mean, I don't feel beauty because there's nobody here. There's nobody who gazes upon me. For my entire life, there's been so few. And that's why I say Johnny Lasagna, only because, like, there was such a hunger in the eye, for which, of course, I played like I didn't see it, indisciplined. But there's that courting and that amazing moment, and it has happened so rare, it was fleeting and then it was gone. And so it's just, there is no bar of beauty here. There is no judge of beauty here. There is no sense of self-worth or self-whatever, because there is no gauge. When you are a 1-2 and you create the 3 together, that is a action in motion. That is what being human is for, and that is what the epitome of partnership is. What I've been tasked and set upon since 1978 has been set up in a manner that it would be unachievable for me, for some reason, to ever reach that. And that's what I don't understand. As everything else outside falls apart, people are going to war, and things just keep getting worse as they're set so far off course. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxies broken. They say that the soul, you know somebody's soul, they're the windows to the world, and the windows to your soul are your eyes. And so when you gaze upon somebody, you are drinking them and you're eating them and you're taking them in. Which is why, for the most part, I don't even look around at the whatever on a daily basis. I walk into a room, I know who I am in that room for planetary importance, for geospatial purposes, that I'm able to do things and have a gift zodiac sundial way for special relationship. And I know when I walk into that situation, unless somebody's sent from where I need, nothingness exists in that room. And nothing is ever going to be worth living for until that person is sent. And then I am rescued out of this, whatever this is. This is inhumane at the moment.